remembers the good old days of exfoliation when we used to get those really harsh, abrasive scrubs and then scrub our faces as hard as we could? My goodness, I know I did that in my 20s. I used to use the Body Shop's Japanese washing grains. And they were grains. They were like grains of sand, and you would just add a bit of water. And I used to scrub as hard as I could. And I had, at the time, I had quite an oily skin, and I had spots. And it was as if I was trying to rub the spots off my face. Well, I now know I was doing more harm than good. I was scratching my skin. I was damaging my skin. And then, of course, the world was introduced to hydroxy acids, and it all changed. So hydroxy acids are very gentle, and they dissolve away your dead skin cells. They make your skin smooth, and there's no rubbing needed. So that's great. However, there are so many hydroxy acids, and there are so many different types of hydroxy acids. Where on earth does one start, and how are you supposed to know what to use? So that's what I thought I would talk about today. And I'm going to focus on the range by Garden of Wisdom. Now, I love Garden of Wisdom because they're really good products, I think, at an incredibly affordable price. And they happen to do a range of 6 hydroxy acids. How amazing is that? So I'm going to go through the different types and what they all offer. So the best known of all of them are the alpha hydroxy acids, and they are great. I love them. Some people, however, do have a bit of difficulty tolerating them, and that's because the molecules are very small and they go quite deep, which is great because that helps with collagen production, and they really give a good exfoliation and smooth your skin. But as I said, if you have a very sensitive skin, you may not be able to tolerate them. If you suffer from rosacea, I would not recommend you using an alpha hydroxy acid. It's a bit of trial and error to see what you can tolerate. But as I said, if you know you have a sensitive skin and you know you have rosacea, then it's not for you. But there is now a new generation of hydroxy acids called PolyHydroxy Acids. And Garden of Wisdom has one in their range, PHA plus serum. Now, the thing about polyhydroxy acids is that their molecules are a little bit bigger than the alpha hydroxy acids. That means it doesn't go as deep, which means it's less irritating. So if you have a sensitive skin, if you have rosacea, then you're much more likely to be able to tolerate the PHA plus serum. And then there are BHAs, beta hydroxy acids. I know, there's just so many. So what's the deal with that? So BHAs are oil soluble, whereas AHAs are water soluble. Now, the good thing about that, it means if you do have an oily skin or you have blemishes or acne, then a BHA is going to be good for you because it's going to help remove the sebum from your pores. And they have one in the Garden of Wisdom range called Salicylic Acid. So I always think this is good for maybe a younger skin or a very oily skin. This is the one to go for. Now, coming on to the alpha hydroxy acids. Now, as I said, who find it quite hard to tolerate things like retinols, don't seem to have any problem with AHAs. And one of the most potent AHAs is Glycolic Acid. And this is the one I use, and I absolutely love it. So it's got very small molecules, so it goes deep. And it's really good for an aging skin because it really helps with that collagen production, gives a really good exfoliation, really smooths your skin. So I use this about twice a week. But the thing is, if your skin is a bit sensitive, or if you just don't know what you can tolerate, or if you like the sound of all that, but you think, I think my skin is a little bit sensitive, then the one to go for is the lactic acid. So very similar to the glycolic acid, but the molecules are a little bit bigger. So it's going to go a little less deep, be a little less irritating. So this is going to be a little gentler, but do very similar stuff. So that's the lactic acid. Now, if you have a dark skin tone or an olive skin tone, and you like the idea of an AHA, you've got to be careful. Because did you know that they can have a lightening effect on skin? And you may not want that. So the one to go for is it's called Mandelic Acid. And this won't have a lightening effect on your skin. It's very similar to lactic acid in that the molecules are a little bit bigger, so it's also less irritating, which is good. And it's got antibacterial properties, so it's also good if you have blemishes. So darker skin tones, this is the one for you. And then there's another one that is absolutely fantastic. And just to confuse things, this one is not an AHA, it's not a BHA, it's not a PHA, it's, I don't know, a DHA or something. It's something beginning with a D. It's an unpronounceable word. You'll never remember it. I can never remember it, so I'm not even going to say it. But the acid is called Azelaic Acid. Now, Shabir Daya, who formulated the Garden of Wisdom range, absolutely swears by this one. He said this is his favorite. And the reason is this one is the most skin friendly out of all of them. It's non-irritating. So if you have rosacea, if you have a very sensitive skin, if you have facial redness, then this is the one to use. And he said the fantastic thing about this one is that it is an all-rounder. So it has great properties for an aging skin, and it helps with cell renewal in a similar way to a retinol. It's not as potent as a retinol, but it has some of those qualities. It also is antibacterial, so it's good with blemishes. It's very good for an inflamed skin, an irritated skin, a red skin. It evens out skin tone. It helps with the exfoliation. As I said, it really is an all-rounder. So if you're nervous and you've had reactions to things in the past, azelaic acid could be the way to go. Now you're probably thinking, oh my goodness, all these words, all these things, I'll never remember it. Don't worry, because I've done an article to go with this video. So all you have to do is go to agelessbygoodnessbarber.com and you will find my guide to the best hydroxy acids. And I've written all these names down. I've written about all of them, links to all of them, so you can see it all there. Now, the other thing to talk about is how do you use these? Well, use acids, hydroxy acids at night. Don't use them during the day. So you cleanse and then you use your acid and then you do whatever you would normally follow it with, you know, be it a facial oil or a moisturizer. I myself love a facial oil, and in fact, Garden of Wisdom do some amazing facial oils. They do, one of my favorites is the prickly pear seed oil, which has great properties for aging skin. They have argan oil, rosehip oil, all kinds of oils. So that's great. And I wouldn't use these on the same night as with a retinol. Now I happen to use the Garden of Wisdom Retistar retinol because it's very gentle. And as I said, I can react to that, so I don't react to their one. So what I do is I use the glycolic acid about twice a week, and I use the retinol about twice a week. And then I just put a facial oil on or a fabulous night cream, and that's how I do it. And as I said, all this information you will find on my website.